AI is progressing quickly, perhaps more quickly than some people thought was possible right now. Eventually, we'll be able to create incredible videos and animations simply by describing them using words. Sure, we're not there just yet, but you might have seen a few text-to-video programs out there already. I did one on Tuna Video just recently, for example. That one was okay, but it did require you to do a little bit of training first before you could actually make your videos. You might also have seen other ones with Shutterstock written all over them. Fun, but that text does kind of ruin it a bit, doesn't it? Wouldn't it be better if you didn't have to do all that training first and the videos didn't always have Shutterstock on them? I know I think so, and thanks to Text2Video-Zero from PixArt AI Research, you can have both of these dreams come true right now. While you won't become the next Martin Scorsese, this is another step along the road towards our future. This GitHub provides a nice Gradio interface with not just that zero-shot text-to-video option, but also tabs for Video Instruct Pix-to-Pix, Pose Conditional, you might recognize those poses there, Edge Conditional, which is a bit like Canny if you've seen ControlNet, and also Edge Conditional and Dream Booth Specialized. Got some Edge Conditional there, got the Canny models, and those specialized Dream Booth models. So whether you just want to see what this thing looks like, or if you've got the hardware and really want to try this for yourself at home, then buckle up as I'm diving in right now to do a quick install, followed by a demonstration of the various options in this app. If you don't want to install anything locally, you could just use the Hugging Face space provided for free. There, on that link, all you have to do is wait your turn. Or, if you feel like splashing a little cash, then you can click on Duplicate Space and rent an A100 of your very own. And yes, do be warned before you start running this locally, it is a bit of a hefty download for all of those models, and you will need at least 12 gigabytes of VRAM in order to run any of the options there. Even with my 24 gigs of VRAM, I still found myself turning down the chunk size a little bit to prevent a great many out-of-memory errors. They say that reducing the VRAM requirement is something that they're working on, so not all hope is lost for the tiny GPU crowd. I'm using Anaconda, and you can too by just downloading and installing it. You can, of course, use any Python environment you want to. The README over here on the GitHub, for example, if we scroll down there, they are using virtual env. You'll need Git as well. Personally, I just use sudo apt install git, and then I've got it for any environment I like, anytime. You could also use conda install git for a more contained option, for example. There are 2 entire steps for installing, so I'm going to look at step 1 first. You should already be aware of things like files and directories, but if not, there are plenty of resources out there on the internet that will teach you how to manage files and directories on your computer system. Personally, I like to save anything related to GitHub in a directory I created myself in my home directory called, wait for it, GitHub. Yes, you may wish to do something similar, so that way when you download stuff, you know exactly where you have downloaded it to. For the copy and paste, you don't even need to select the text. There is a little icon there. When you hover over it, that will copy it. When you go back to Anaconda, you can just do paste, press return, and that will clone and change directory for you. The steps for Anaconda are almost identical to those for virtual env, but we do get to use a cool name with Anaconda. There it is, conda create --name text to video Python 3.9. I of course have already created my environment, so I'm just going to move straight on to the next step and activate it. There it is, conda activate text to video. I've got my environment activated, and there's just one more little command in this first stage, and that is to pip install requirements.txt, and there it is, everything has installed. If you prefer 2 lines over 3, they have also provided an Anaconda environment file, so you could use that option as well. If you want to do that, you can just conda env create --name, whatever you want, and then -f environment.yaml. If for whatever reason you have any issues with PyTorch, the first thing I would suggest is to make sure you have CUDA 11.7, which you can do via this conda install of PyTorch 1.13.1. That is, unless you have an AMD card, in which case you want to use the ROC M version. That's the one you want to install. I don't have an AMD card to test, but I have been told that usually works. There you go. You've now completed both steps and the app is installed. All that's left now is to run it. There's lots of options for inference there, but if we scroll down a little bit, it will tell us there inference using the Gradio app. So all you have to do is python app.py. If you want public access, you could also use the --public_access option. We can also take a quick look at some of these results they've got on their GitHub page now as well. They're a little bit out of order with regards to the tabs in the interface, but never mind. We've got text to video there first. As you can see, those look pretty cool. We've got running horses and men and pandas playing guitars and all that sort of stuff. If we scroll down, we've got text to video with pose guidance. Might have seen that in ControlNet. So there you got the little pose. That's making the video up the top. Again, similar to ControlNet with the canny edge model. There they've got edge guidance and the canny making the video at the top there. We've also got this one, which is sort of new, the text to video with edge guidance and Dream Booth specialization as well. They've only got 4 options for that. It's sort of an example they're just showing you there. You can't really do very much with that, but we'll dive into that in a minute. And finally, on this page here, we've got the video instruct pix to pix. Now, this can make some quite nice ones. As you can see, there's a fair amount of coherence in some of those pix to pix videos. Starting the app exactly like they say there, python app.py. That will fire up after a few seconds and say that it is running on a local URL. So you just need to open that in your web browser. And there you get a nice web interface, just like that Hugging Face space we saw earlier. This first tab here, the zero shot tab, this is probably what most people want to do. The Shutterstock logo free zero shot text to video generation. There are absolutely loads of models to choose from. If you click that little down arrow, you see there's loads, and you scroll down, it's like, okay, yeah, there's tons. Now do be aware that each of those files are quite large. It's the diffusers version. It will download automatically, so you can just pick whatever you want, but the first time you've used it, it will download, so watch out for those big file sizes. I'm just going to use Stable Diffusion version 1.5, the standard one there from Runway ML, as I already have that downloaded. I have an example prompt there, an extremely cute pet rat eating some spaghetti from a tiny plate, and by default, those advanced options are hidden, but I always like to show them. You can turn the watermark off. You can have a little logo there or a Text2Video-Zero logo, or just turn it off. Video length, of course, is reasonably short. You can make fairly long videos, but as you've seen by the quality of them, you may not want to do so. Chunk size is a little bit like batch size. So if you've got a really low VRAM card, if you've only got 12 gig, you'll want to turn that batch size all the way down to 2. I'm just going to leave it on 6, which is fine for my card. You've got this Delta X and Delta Y. Those sort of control the movement in the video. So you've got positive X is left, negative X is right, positive Y is up, and negative Y is down. Time steps, you've got T0 and T1. Ideally, T0 should be less than T1 unless you want it to be really, really weird. And also I found that T1 can't equal 49. If I turn that up to 49, it doesn't like it very much. And right down at the bottom there, they've got some examples, so you can just click on that and that will do a little preset for you. So let's just have a quick look at this video. What has it done? Got our rodent eating spaghetti. Is he eating the spaghetti? Yes, he is. Look how delicious that spaghetti is. Now, there isn't a seed there, so if I click run again now, then you'll get a completely different video. And for some reason, I've got my cute rat actually inside the bowl this time. What's going on there? Well, yeah. It's a bit weird, isn't it? There's still lots of spaghetti going on, but you get the idea. Put whatever prompt you want in there and create the video of whatever length. Okay, let's go and have a look at the video instruct pix to pix. Now, you've got many of the same options in here again. I've opened up the advanced options there. So you've got the watermark, which I tend to turn off. Image resolution, even on my 24 gig, I'm keeping that at 512. Image guidance scale is basically how much do you want it to stay like the original image. 2, it will be very much like it. 1, it will do some reasonable changes. Starting time in seconds, quite obvious. When do you start on the video? When do you end on the video? Output video, FPS, and chunk size we've already been through. That's on all of these tabs, is basically the batch size. They've got some example options here as well for the default. So I've used this one here. Make it Van Gogh Starry Night style, and you press run, and that will generate a video which looks like that. There you go. That's quite nice, isn't it? It can be quite consistent in pix-to-pix mode, but also note that is quite a low FPS. It's a 4 FPS video, and I think the video input is about 2 FPS. If we have a look at that in 13 FPS, for example, press that again. As you can see, we've got some very jittery stars going on there, but it is a low FPS video to start with. You can, of course, use your own videos. Let's close that. And I can drag my own video in there. And if we do exactly the same thing with that, we've got 512, time on 0. We'll end at 4 seconds. That's fine. We'll keep it 4 FPS and do exactly the same thing on her. See what that turns out like. There she is. That looks pretty cool. All right, let's have a quick play. And there we go. So we've got the background moving in that one, and she's a little bit static in the foreground, but you get the general idea. You can take your video, do the prompt, and change it in whatever way you like. Pose conditional is the next one here. You've just got some set poses there, although I imagine you could probably pop your own pose videos in there if you've got one created. So there I selected motion 5, and my prompt was a Roman soldier dancing in a supermarket near Watford. And there he is doing some sort of dance. He seems to be the same colour as all the beer there, but I think that's where a Roman soldier would be, don't you? Moving on to the next tab, we've got Edge Conditional. Once again, they've got some example videos, and you can upload your own there. Input video. I've done one here. Cthulhu Smiles, Halloween style, a high quality, detailed and professional photo. And the original video looks like this. So there she is, just sort of raising her head in a very low FPS video, and the very same thing. That is how it outputs. Finally here, the text, canny edge and dream booth conditional video generation. Like it says there, their current release supports only 4 predefined dream booth models and 4 motion edges. I've used the head there, for example, and then the arcane style. And I've also put arcane style into the prompt there. Click run, and there is the generated video. There you have it, lots of options for making loads of different videos, and if you did want to watch my tuna video, here is a little link for it.